Hey friends, have you been hearing a lot about adrenal fatigue and wondering what the heck is it? And do we even have adrenals in our body? Like, are they made up? I totally get it. Adrenal glands are really top of mind because the holistic and natural health community talks about them so much. And then in the conventional medicine side, you have the conventional medicine saying it's just a myth. So which one is it? We're going to find out today. I'm Audrey Christie, the naturalistic nurse. I help people find relief and remission and get free and clear from their autoimmune and chronic illnesses from the roots up and the inside out. So let's start. What are adrenals? Because a lot of people are like, is that like a body part? Is it an organ? Is it like a hormone? Who knows, right? Don't worry, I got you back. So around the middle part of your back, so if you're like in the middle of your trunk and you go around the back, you have these two roughly large-sized fist-sized beans on either side of your back. Those are your kidneys, not your adrenals. But right on top of those kidneys are these little power packs called the adrenal glands. These power packs help send chemical messengers throughout your body to help you maintain your energy levels through your physical energy levels. So like the energy to wake up and get out of bed, the energy to like go work out, the energy to go to work every day. They maintain those levels so that you can get stuff done all day long. Now, on the energetic side of things, the adrenals are still your power pack. They're located right in the solar plexus chakra, right in that physical energy center, and they're controlled by the kidney meridian. And we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. One of the chemical messengers, one of the most important chemical messengers, there's three really important ones. We're going to focus on one today that the adrenal glands produce is called cortisol. Now, cortisol gets a bad rap. I remember in the 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in my teen years, when the infomercial would come on TV talking about cortisol and scaring everyone into thinking that if you have cortisol in your body, you're going to get this giant spare tire and you're going to be overweight and have heart health problems and just die, right? And it's not that dramatic. As with most things that are naturally produced in the body, there is a really specific purpose for it, and we don't want to make it go away. Just like cholesterol. Cholesterol is really, really important. So you don't want to try to knock it out with medication. Same goes with cortisol. Cortisol is a really important stress hormone. It helps start the cascade of other chemical messengers that react when you have a fight or flight situation. Picture this. It's a few hundred years ago and you're walking along a trail in, let's say, Texas, because that's where I'm at. So you're walking along a path in the forest in North Texas and you look up. I guess it would be in what would someday be Texas, right? You look up and you see a jaguar, native to Texas. You see a jaguar. Now, cortisol is going to come from your adrenal glands. It's going to infuse your body. Epinephrine and norepinephrine and all these chemical messengers are going to start flowing to get your heart rate up, to stop your digestion and push all of that blood to your brain and your muscles so that you can get out of there or turn and fight, right? Cortisol sounds pretty darn useful in that respect. Now, fast forward to now, you're driving down the interstate and you're bumper to bumper traffic and some idiot cuts you off for no good reason. We'll talk more about that. But the same thing happens. Cortisol fires out of your adrenals, epinephrine, norepinephrine, all those things start bubbling around in your body. Your digestion stops, your muscles get a rush of blood, your brain gets a rush of blood, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up. Not so useful, right? So as you can imagine, that cortisol hit happens over and over and over again in our stressful lives today. When you see something on the news you don't like, when you're paying the bills, when some idiot cuts you off in traffic, when you argue with your partner, when your boss comes in and does something ridiculous and hands you something you don't want. Those things keep that cortisol level up. What happens when we have this perceived stressor and this cortisol spikes, it stays up, right? Stopping our digestion, causing high blood pressure, high pulse rate. It's not that cortisol is the enemy, it's the trigger. So let's talk about how to fix it, how to beat it. Again, conventional medicine says that adrenal fatigue isn't real, but we know that conventional medicine only sees the extremes, right? They only look at the extremes. So if you are somewhere in the middle, if you're on the spectrum rather than at Cushing's disease where you're producing way too much cortisol and it's provable on a lab report, or you're somewhere near the bottom like Addison's disease where you don't have nearly enough cortisol, that's when conventional medicine wants to get involved. But as we know in the holistic world, in the naturalistic world, we know that that entire spectrum can create symptoms that affect our everyday lives. So how do we fix it? very best way to fix it is stress reduction. And I know that it's way easier to say. It seems like a far reach to get to that stress reduction point. As with most things, a multi-pronged approach, right? A functional approach that focuses on your physical, emotional, energetic, and mental state will help you reduce that stress. It doesn't change what's going to happen to you, but it changes how you perceive it and how you and your human suit, most importantly, react. So let's look at some of those ways. The number one very best way, the number one best thing you can do, because it is free, it requires no supplies, and studies show that is the single best way to reduce stress is meditation. And I know you're like, Audrey, no, I can't do it. You don't need anything, not even a quiet environment to meditate. Just this past weekend, I meditated on the couch while the family watched football. It is totally possible, okay? Totally possible. If you're not on my mailing list, make sure you jump on today. The link is in the notes below. I'll be sending out my meditation guide. I have 2 guides. One is a mindfulness meditation practice for wellness, and 2 is a mindfulness meditation practice for those who don't have time to meditate, because you don't need a lot of time to meditate. And I assure you, if you will try it on for 5 minutes twice a day, you will find much more than that 5 minutes in your day. You will also find that your stress reaction reduces and your health starts to improve. The second thing you can do is energy medicine. Now, energy medicine, that's part of what I was talking about with that kidney meridian. So there's 2 techniques. I'm going to show you one today. The full technique is on the transcript below. It's difficult to demonstrate without standing up, but one I can show you today. So the first one is K27. Kidney meridian runs from the bottom of the ball of your feet all the way up the inside of your ankles, up the inside of your thighs, the midline of your torso or trunk, and stops right here at K27. Now you can find K27 by finding your collarbones, finding the collarbones, and then it's a little divot right underneath the collarbone. You can just feel where it indents. That's K27. You have 2 options. You can really push and massage on that, or you can make what I call bird fingers and peck, and it's going to make my voice shake when I do that. Now, what you're doing there is stimulating the end of the kidney meridian, and so that's going to give you an instant energy boost. It's going to reset those adrenals. Caveat is, it's not a permanent fix. You can't walk around doing this all day. I guess you could, but eventually your body's going to say, nah, too much. So you could do this a few times to get you over the hump. It's also a really good way to recover if you've peaked with stress and then you're coming back down and you feel like you need a nap, that 3 p.m. stressor. This is a good option. The second option is a kidney flush. Again, you can find that on the transcripts. It's a little bit too much to demonstrate in this method. The third option are essential oils. Now, essential oils are not the lock and key for adrenal fatigue. Frankly, the lock and key is meditation, but essential oils can help you by playing a significant role in getting your adrenals back to full health. I recommend a combination of 3 oils: basil essential oil, rosemary essential oil, and grapefruit essential oil. Basil is the oil of renewal. It helps to rejuvenate that vital force, especially if you've been in a long period of burnout or exhaustion. The second one is rosemary oil, and rosemary has been shown to decrease cortisol levels in the body very, very effectively. So if your cortisol levels are up, use rosemary to bring it down. And then the third one is grapefruit, and grapefruit is beautiful for pulling excess cortisol from the body. And for that reason alone, it's really, really good to use as part of your treatment plan every single day. Now, these 3 oils are powerful. If you use all 3 together, they're also just fine alone. So you can diffuse them, you can apply them topically. I prefer people to mix them in a roller bottle. And so usually the question, people say, hey, Audrey, how many drops of each do I need? I would start with even amount, 2, 2, and 2, 2 drops of each, 2 rosemary, 2 basil, 2 grapefruit, in a 10 milliliter roller bottle with grape seed oil. Now, it might be that your body needs a different amount. So in my free and clear class, Foundations, the essential oil bonus shows you how to energy test or muscle test to know how many drops your body needs. But 2, 2, and 2 will get you started unless you know intuitively that that's something different that you need. Now, you can put these, again, on your pulse points. They're also really, really powerful to put on the adrenal VitaFlex points on the bottom of your feet. You can put them at K27 as well. So next week, we're going to be talking about adrenals. We're going to be talking supplements, nutrition, and other methods of support and maintaining that adrenal health. If you have any questions, I'm always here for that. If you like this information, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. That's okay too. I'm here for questions. Thank you again for listening. Be well.